So Joe Biden was being interviewed by Lawrence O'Donnell about Medicare for All. The question is framed, what if Medicare for All somehow, passes through the House of Representatives and the Senate, that Medicare for All gets to your bill or gets to your desk, Joe Biden, what would you do? Would you support it and would you veto it? And Joe Biden says that, yeah, if he gets that Medicare for All bill on his desk, he's going to veto it. If Because he wants to veto anything that delays providing security and certainty of healthcare now. So he's trying to say that he would veto Medicare for All because it doesn't provide the security and safety of providing healthcare right now to people. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? And then he was saying that he would also want to potentially veto it because how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for this program that just costs so much? So he's saying he would veto it due to the cost and because it doesn't provide health care to everybody. Oh, right now it's like, oh my god, it's like, where do you start? So first off, the first 16 caucus and primary states, the exit polls overwhelmingly showed that Medicare for All was supported by the populations of all of those states, 16 out of 16. A full majority, or at least a plurality, supported adopting a single-payer Medicare for All system of healthcare in this country. And Biden saying, well, how are you going to pay for it? It costs so much. No, Joe Biden, sleepy Joe Biden, it saves at least $450 billion. That's billion with a B. Dollars a year. There's a Lancet study that came out no more than 2-3 weeks ago that showed that, and that it saves 70,000 plus lives a year. And then you also have the fact 500 plus thousand people won't be going bankrupt because of these insane medical bills that people get because they're either insured or underinsured or have no insurance, which I believe both of those numbers combined is about 80 million people in the U.S. are either underinsured or have no insurance whatsoever. And guess what? Joe Biden, he's saying he wants people to have, the security and comfort of having healthcare, high quality healthcare available to them right now. Your healthcare plan, Joe Biden, leaves 10 million people uninsured on the most wealthy country on the face of the earth has ever known. Bernie Sanders' plan covers everybody. It's Medicare for all. So it's like the majority of people in the U.S. support Medicare for All, especially Democratic voters overwhelmingly endorse it. And again, these first 16 states, exit poll after exit poll showed that it was favored by a majority of people in those places. And this is, places all around the country from, California, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, all of these different places with very diverse, populations and backgrounds and all of these things. The voters want it. It saves money. It saves 70 plus thousand lives each year, and it makes sure everybody has health care. Joe Biden's plan leaves 10 million people uninsured. Health care should be considered a human right. Joe Biden talks about it in that issue, but again, his plan leaves 10 million people uninsured. Bernie Sanders is the only one who supports Medicare for All, so because he actually genuinely believes that that healthcare is a human right, and he would fight to make that a reality for day one, so we don't have people dying and going bankrupt and putting off medical care and all these things because they're either underinsured or they don't have any insurance at all. And Joe Biden's plan would leave 10 million people. That's a lot of fucking people without healthcare. And then he's trying to, gaslight by saying, Medicare for All doesn't provide the security and comfort of healthcare for everybody, or delays that. It's like, no, that's just so such a disingenuous argument. Bernie's plan, yes, it's phased over, time to reduce the age limits, I believe, over 4 years. So like the first year it goes to like 55, 45, 35, and then I think the fourth year after that it would include everybody, something like that. And again, so then after that point, everybody has insurance. Joe Biden's plan, if it's running as optimally as it should be, still leaves 10 million people in perpetuity without health care. And his plan costs more money. Medicare for All saves, again, 450 plus billion, again, billion with a B, dollars a year, equivalent to about 13% of the current U.S. Expenditures on healthcare would be saved by switching to a single payer system. And obviously one of the big reasons is the lack of bureaucracy and red tape in a single payer system. You don't have all of these different insurance companies and competing plans having to call people, am I covered for this, does this work, is this out of network? All of that goes away, and everything again becomes free at the point of service. No copays, deductibles, no premiums, and it saves the average American family thousands of dollars each year. So again, healthcare is a super important issue, and Bernie Sanders is the only candidate who will fight to make sure Medicare for All becomes a reality, so we catch up to the rest of the industrialized world. Okay, Bernie Sanders is the only choice, and this is just another example of that. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Peace. Much love.